So let me get this straight. They cut fucking food stamps because they said, people can just go to food banks. That was their plan. That was their goddamn solution to hunger in America. And then those same people turned around and cut $500 million in funding to those same fucking food banks. $500 million gone just like that. How fucking sick is that? This isn't just some policy disagreement. This is cruelty. Straight up, calculated, disgusting cruelty. People are gonna go hungry. Kids, seniors, working families, people already hanging on by a thread, all because some rich assholes in suits think they're too good to care. And here's the thing, like it or not, there will always be people in our society who need help. That's not a failure, that's just reality. And it's fucking okay. Not everyone can work. Not everyone has family to fall back on. Not everyone gets a fair shot. That's why safety nets exist. That's why we're supposed to give a shit about each other. But instead, the people in charge, the Schumers, the Cruzes, all of them, they gut programs people rely on, then they pat themselves on the back for being fiscally responsible. Like, starving your own citizens is some kind of budget win? Fuck that. We are the richest country on earth. If we can fund wars, bail out banks, and give billionaires tax breaks, then we can damn well feed people. This system is broken. It's mean, and it's designed to stay that way unless we call this shit out every single time. So keep the receipts and don't let these assholes pretend this is anything but what it is, an attack on people who need help most.
Cutting food stamps for the month of Thanksgiving, y'all cannot tell me they did not plan that shit. Hear me out, this might be a wild take, but I truly feel like they're trying to see how far they can push us so we can give them a reaction so they can just start blasting us. Because let's be honest, we all riot, we all rampage, we all genuinely get together and fucking create some ruckus. They're gonna have no choice but to put their foot down and have to shoot some people and control the population. On my mama! It is all a fucking plan. I just want to know when we're all gonna be like that Ant movie and get together and just overthrow these bitches. Because I genuinely feel like people forget that it is our right to overthrow the government if we don't see it fit. And clearly our government has been shut down twice. Our government is not fit. So therefore, hear me out, it is our right to overthrow the government. Y'all need to get this racism shit out of your ass and get out of this division shit. And we need to start getting together. Because that's what the fuck they want, for us to be divided so they can conquer. We literally learned about this.
Okay, speaking as somebody who has been on food stamps before, with the government being shut down still and no end in sight, which is absolutely...
Millions of MAGA voters are finally beginning to see the light as the big beautiful bill causes pain, hunger, and humiliation. President Trump's cuts to social safety nets have invoked a tsunami of disgruntled red state voters who are voicing their disapproval in this video.
Millions of children are going to be in danger of not having enough food. And what I think is happening, and other people have reflected this, so I agree with all of their analyses, is that the administration wants us to get desperate and wants us to riot and wants us to go out to the street and wants people to steal food so that he can declare martial law or send in the National Guard to, take over our cities and begin jailing anybody who opposes that.
Did you guys realize that there's so many people talking about the food stamp cut that's going on as far as like people not getting their food stamps for the month of November? But what I'm gonna say is probably not gonna benefit you or change the narrative of what's going on for the month of November. But what I am gonna say is that you guys realize that around the first of the month, when the majority of people get their food stamps around the first of the month. Not everybody, some people get them like on the 3rd, the 15th, it all depends. I don't know if it goes by your last name or what, but majority, if not all of these grocery stores around the US, they depend on those billions of dollars worth of food stamps to come in every single month. They prep for it every month at their grocery store. That's why when you go into a store around the first of the month, you see fresh grapes, everything looks so fresh and pretty because they know that it's gonna leave those shelves quick. You guys realize, even if it's just the month of November and people don't get their food stamps, do you know how bad that's gonna hurt the grocery stores all those turkeys that's coming from all those farms that's going to sit there, millions of turkeys. They're going to have to get that stuff away. They can't let it just sit there and spoil. All that meat that sits there, guys, they have to mark that meat down and give it to you and sell it to you for discounted prices. Only people with cash is going to be able to afford that food. You guys realize how bad it's going to hurt the meat producers, the butchers, the farmers, the people who produce the vegetables and everything. So this is way bigger than you guys think. A lot of people was thinking, well, Thanksgiving's going to be bad. It could be bad if people don't get their food stamps because they're dependent on it. But just think about how big of a freaking disaster it's going to be on our economy, man. All it's going to take is just 1 month of people not getting their food stamps, and watch what happens in those grocery stores. Those meat prices is going to drop. Those vegetable prices is going to drop. Those fruit prices is going to drop. They're not going to throw that stuff in the trash can, guys. Not when they can at least make something off of it. But you guys leave me your comments on this topic. I'm just really curious. I think the grocery stores are going to...
Cutting food stamps in November is absolutely strategic. Lenin said every society is only 3 meals away from a violent revolution, and Trump has been doing everything he can think to get us to respond in a way where he can take over as a dictator, where he can send in troops to states because we're so violent. But what have we been doing? We've been showing up in inflatable costumes. We've been protesting, 7 million strong, no arrests, and he's getting tired of it. So what is he going to do? He's going to cut off 40 million people on short notice, and now they can't feed their families. And what is going to happen? People are going to start taking, and we're going to look the other way, but he's not going to let that happen. He's going to put these people that do ICE or whoever these people are, these white nationalist Proud Boys, to snitch on hungry people. Tell me again how this man is the person sent by Christ.
Millions of Americans may be on the brink of starvation, and this is what our current Commander-in-Chief, Donald J. Trump, have been using as leverage in order to pass his big, brutal billionaire handout. Listen, you cannot tell me in the wealthiest nation on the face of the earth that we cannot afford to give $200 to feed a hungry person. However, we have $6.4 billion every single year in government subsidies to give to Elon Musk to subsidize his lifestyle. Now, it's not $6.4 billion in government contracts. These are $6.4 billion of taxpayer money that subsidizes his companies. And for those that may not know what a government subsidy is, that is just a synonym for wealthy, welfare. When a poor person needs assistance, it's called welfare. When a billionaire pays off the politicians, purchases the politicians, it is no longer called welfare. It is called a government subsidy. When a poor person needs assistance, it is because they are lazy. And when the wealthiest man on the face of the earth leverages his money and the influence that he has on the billionaire class, on our politicians and our political system, hey, it's not because he's lazy. It's because he deserves it. Listen, I'm not going to talk you guys to death. Typically I try to put a more humorous spin on a lot of my videos, but this is a bit too serious for me to even try and joke about. I don't know who you voted for, whether it's the left or the right, but any human being should be able to admit that starving your population is not the way to get things done. However, I'm only a person, so I could be wrong. If you have a difference of opinion, or if there's something that I neglected to, say I may have overlooked, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. If you agree with what I say, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit the like so YouTube can get this message out to others. Regardless to who you voted for, hey, I'm still gonna pray for you. It's still love. Why? Because whether you're on the left or you're on the right, both wings are connected to the same bird and they only fly in one direction. That is more wealth for the wealthy and more headaches for the average, everyday working man. Goodbye.